You sit down to dinner. The spaghetti in front of you smells fantastic. You take a bite. The texture is normal. The taste is slightly off, a little earthy, a little overly sweet, but acceptable. Then your wife reveals the secret ingredient. To thicken the sauce, she dug out a container of leftover spaghetti from the back of the fridge, noodles that had been sitting there for 6 full days. She threw them into a blender, pureed them into a paste, and stirred them directly into the fresh sauce. Based on a viral post from the Am I the A-hole subreddit, the fallout was immediate. The husband stopped eating in disgust. His wife accused him of being dramatic, since he'd already finished half the plate. He ended up making a sandwich while she refused to speak to him for the rest of the night. Curious, this creates a strange paradox. Fresh pasta and 6-day-old pasta are physically made of the same ingredients. The husband's palate had already cleared the food for entry. So why did his stomach turn only after he heard the truth? Our sense of flavor functions as a retroactive safety check, giving the brain the power to override the stomach the moment new information arrives. To understand the biological reality of the husband's disgust, we have to track what happens to a cooked noodle sitting in a refrigerator for 144 hours. This model illustrates starch retrogradation. Over 6 days, pasta starch molecules realign and crystallize, causing that sweet, earthy flavor. As the timeline progresses, a secondary threat emerges. Starchy leftovers breed Bacillus cereus, the fried rice syndrome pathogen. These spores multiply exponentially on aging carbohydrates. Blending those noodles into a puree is an effective way to hide their rubbery, degraded texture from the tongue. It does nothing to neutralize the underlying bacterial colony. The science confirms the husband's mother was right. Blending 6-day-old starch serves of a biological hazard disguised as a fresh meal. The wife's defense rests on one idea. If he could eat half the plate without getting sick, his reaction to the recipe was just a performance. That ignores the omnivore's dilemma, the evolutionary requirement that humans strictly categorize food as safe or poisonous before swallowing. We use sight and smell as our main defenses. When a cook deliberately hides old ingredients, they bypass those biological checks, tricking the palate into accepting something the eyes would have rejected. This logic flow shows what happens the moment the brain catches up. On the left, the mouth sends safe signals based on the blended texture. On the right, the brain intercepts the 6-day-old data and sends an immediate pathogen override to the stomach. This cognitive override triggers an involuntary physiological rejection. The husband didn't stop eating to be difficult. His brain physically prohibited him from continuing once the source was identified as untrustworthy. He wasn't acting like a dramatic baby. His brain simply hit the biological panic button the moment it realized it had been tricked. The argument over this plate of spaghetti eventually moved past the mechanics of food safety and into the territory of interpersonal ethics. Cooking for another person involves a culinary contract based on trust. The eater lowers their natural defenses because they believe the cook is providing safe nourishment. Hiding expired ingredients and demanding that a partner eat it before asking questions violates that person's bodily autonomy. While the wife's desire to reduce waste is a resourceful goal, transparency regarding ingredients is a mandatory boundary in any kitchen. Because tricking the brain breaks the culinary contract and causes genuine biological distress, therefore, the husband is not the a-hole.